This is stage 3 of development on site at Takanini Town Centre. Stage 2 kind of came about when the land was rezoned for retail use, and the warehouse came knocking on the door at that juncture wanting to relocate. Stage 3 was kind of a similar story with council wanting to locate their local library here with us. And stage 3 really came about as a result of interest from Silkiota cinemas. That coupled with some demographic research that we had done that showed that this area was really lacking in a high quality food and beverage offer. So we knew that if we could get a great entertainment offer like Silkiota, we could pair that with strong food and beverage, great restaurants. We'd have a successful mix for stage 3.
I spoke to Derby Square Project Director James Commode about the plans for the new development in Takanini. We started by discussing some of the demographic research that was completed for the project.
I mean, that was done by Property Economics, and it was one of the first things that I did when I started a couple of years ago, right? Because you have to understand your customer. If you don't understand your customer, you're going to make all sorts of unwise decisions in terms of development and retail mix. So that's the first thing that we did, and it told us a few things, and a few that you'd probably guess, but and a few that were surprising. We've got a really kind of diverse mix of people within our catchment. The thing that was surprising was that we've got a higher sort of high to medium household income above sort of $100,000 to $150,000 a year. We've actually got a higher portion of that than the Auckland average, and also kind of a high number of occupants per household and a lower average age. All of that told us that we've got a lot of families, and it's kind of middle New Zealand. I guess the reality is that this part of Auckland's been growing so fast that, and they've been so starved of quality options that yes, there is enough demand within our catchment for this use. I don't know exactly what the numbers are, but if you were within our catchment area, there's probably another 40 or 50 houses where a new family's moving in. So every week, so your density of catchment population is actually growing all the time, and therefore the spending power within that catchment is growing. So I guess you've got to look at kind of that macro level, but you've also got to look at that microeconomic level too. We're developing it with, there'll be a 8-screen Silkiota cinema complex, which is going to sit at level 1, accessed via stairs and escalators. There'll be a 1,200 square metre arcading entertainment use on the ground floor that sits behind the restaurants, and then there'll be 5 restaurants that all face out and spill out onto our town square that we're developing. And then there's the town square, so that's a landscaped area that's open and available for public use, and really is designed to become the heart to our local community.
While some of the spaces were already spoken for, James tells me negotiations to lease the remaining spaces in the complex are ongoing.
We've got 3 of them that are fully leased, and 3 that are in negotiations of the 7 spaces, yeah.
But questions remain about the local demand for these hospitality offerings and whether there will be enough foot traffic.
We've had a lot of feedback, across social media channels and all sorts. And when we actually announced the development, there was a lot of enthusiasm from the local community for what we're building. I mean, you can see the car park today, it's just about full, and it's a Monday.
James refers to the busy car park for the existing retail and services precinct, the Takanini Town Centre.
I think they think that that the customers out here don't demand or deserve a quality product.
James believes there are misconceptions about consumers in South Auckland.
They develop with that in mind, And we've got a really clear vision. We've had it from the very beginning that we're not going to compromise on the quality of our development. So all our architectural, treatment of all of our buildings is second to none. And it's the same for stage 3. So architecturally, it's going to be an amazing development. But that same strength of vision is going to flow through to our occupier vision as well. We're going to be uncompromising for wanting to deliver quality outcomes for our customer out here.
I question if he thinks property developers continue to place too much focus on traditionally affluent areas such as the North Shore.
In reality, I think that's probably changing, but building infrastructure like this takes a long time, and really, like, we're taking a lead role in it because the owners of the site are locally based, they're embedded within the community, so they know it and understand it, and probably knew and understood what was happening here before a lot of the large-scale, potentially corporate property investors did.
I also asked James about public transport in the local area and whether it needs to build up to meet demand.
There's the shortage of infrastructure investment within New Zealand as a whole, and Auckland specifically for transport is kind of pretty well evidenced, and I don't think this part of Auckland's really different to anywhere else. We could do with better connection from a public transport perspective. Likewise, investment in high quality roading around here as well. It's just got to keep up with the growth. They've gone through an electrification process, obviously, from Papakura all the way through to Pukekohe. So I think that work's largely complete, and they're going to be operating those electric trains pretty soon. And then they are actually putting in two new train stations between Papakura and Pukekohe as well. So I think that with that will come better reliability.
James explains Derby Square is targeting local residents as opposed to drawing people out from the city.
We understand that our local community live here, and generally they work in this region as well. So then there's a lot of people that vary to that are probably travelling up the motorway 5 days a week to go to work. And they'll be coming home, and on the weekends they've got no interest in travelling up the motorway again. So they need that quality offer on their doorstep.
He says Derby Square's offering has been carefully considered.
We spent a lot of time at the beginning of the process, studying, best practice entertainment and dining precincts and what they look like and what they offer. And we've always wanted this to be a comprehensive offer. So we didn't just want it to be cinemas within entertainment or just arcading and entertainment. We really want it to be both those things that are very much complementary. And it's the same within the restaurant space as well, really determined in terms of making sure we get quality operators. And then, it's understanding their concept that they want to bring to Derby Square. And ensuring that we minimise that menu overlap between operators as well. We wanted to have a clear identity for the stage development on site, and actually the town square will be known as Derby Square, and it's kind of a small nod to the history of this site. So, 30-40 years ago, racing horses were actually thoroughbreds were trained on site here. So yeah, it's a nod to the history.
Despite challenges for the construction and property sectors, the multi-year development has been largely unaffected by recent headwinds such as material shortages.
We have not within probably the usual ones that you'd expect. I think some of those shortages that existed 2 years ago have resolved themselves. So no, we haven't had any kind of major construction challenges driven by shortages of supply.
So what gives James confidence that this development will work here and now?
Because of who our customer is. Our customer's not too different to the customer that you find further up the motorway. they just haven't been well serviced. So yeah, we're really confident that the demographics within our catchment will support the use of this nature.